Let's start with the displays. The iQoo 3 has a 6.44-inch Super AMOLED display at 180Hz touch response and a 60Hz refresh rate. 180Hz touch response means that you get a faster and smoother touch experience, and this display is at 60Hz, which is standard. So overall, this is a really good display. But is it as good as the competitors? Let's find out. The realme x50 Pro has a 6.44-inch Super AMOLED display, and the OnePlus 7T has 6.55-inch Super AMOLED display. Both of these displays have 90Hz refresh rate, which means it is way smoother compared to your standard 60Hz. So the display points go to the OnePlus 7T and the realme x50 Pro. Next up, batteries. The iQoo 3 has 4440 mAh battery with 55 watt super flash charging. The realme x50 Pro has a 4200 mAh battery with 65 watt super dart charging, and the OnePlus 7T has 3800 mAh battery with warp charge 30T, which is 30 watt charging. The iQoo 3 has the biggest battery capacity among these three, and the realme x50 Pro has the fastest charging, so they get the points for battery. If you like the video so far, a sub would be great, and if you're new here, you're watching Collier Studios. My name is Karthik S. The realme x50 Pro and the iQoo 3 are powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 5G, which is the top of the line flagship processor, and on the other end, the OnePlus 7T is powered by the slightly older 855 Plus, which clearly on paper shows that 865 is better compared to the 855 Plus. The Geekbench and Antutu scores are on your screen. But in real life, is the 865 clearly better than the 855 Plus? Well, no. In day-to-day use, you're not going to find any difference. But the 865 is more power efficient compared to the 855 Plus. Bottom line, all the three phones have top-of-the-line performance, but the realme x50 Pro and iQoo 3 get the points because they are more power efficient and they also support 5G. Next up, TikTokers delight cameras. We have three categories: front cameras, rear cameras, and video capabilities. Let's start with the rear cameras. The iQoo 3 has 4 rear cameras: 48 megapixel main sensor, 13 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel depth sensor, and a 13 megapixel telephoto. The camera samples are on your screen and it does take pretty good pictures. The realme x50 Pro also has 4 rear cameras, a 64 megapixel main camera, 12 megapixel telephoto lens, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. The camera sample is on your screen and it also takes pretty good pictures. The OnePlus 7T has 3 rear cameras, a 48 megapixel primary lens, 12 megapixel telephoto, and a 16 megapixel ultra wide, and the sample picture is on your screen. Overall, all the three phones have pretty good cameras, and the OnePlus 7T gets the point because it has OIS, which is optical image stabilization. Next up, front cameras. The iQoo 3 has a 16 megapixel single lens. The realme x50 Pro has a 32 megapixel main lens and 8 megapixel ultra wide. Yes, dual front cameras, and the OnePlus 7T has a 16 megapixel front camera. These three phones clearly take really good selfies, but the point goes to the realme x50 Pro because it has a second front camera and it is also an ultra wide, which is really good for selfies. Next up, videos. All the three phones can shoot at 4K 30 fps. The iQoo 3 can also do 4K at 60 fps, but it has focusing issues, and the OnePlus 7T also has OIS, which means clearly the video point goes to the OnePlus 7T. And now to the world. iQoo 3 is a really good phone for its price, but it has its sets of drawbacks, like the cameras aren't as great as the other two phones, it has focusing issues, and iQoo UI is pretty crappy. So if you're considering this phone, I would say add in 1,000 or 2 and get the realme x50 Pro. The OnePlus 7T is still a really good smartphone, but no point in buying it because the OnePlus 8 is on the line. So clearly the realme x50 Pro is the best phone among these three, and if you want to buy a phone at the 40k price segment, you cannot go wrong with this. But if you can wait, I would say wait for the OnePlus 8 because the Oxygen OS which is offered on the OnePlus 8 is clearly way better compared to the realme UI. And with that, we have reached the boring part of the video in which a YouTuber asks the audience watching him to do certain stuff in exchange of the information he or she have provided. And people never listen, so I'm not going to say it. Like, share, subscribe. Not going to say it. Karthik has got that over and out. But actually though, like, share, subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.
This shit is as real as it gets. You gotta believe cause it's all on myself. I ain't complaining, don't need your respect. I'm trying to say that I'm fine by myself.